and Writers Roulette, where today's theme is sex, love, and virtual reality, because it's Valentine's Day. Woo! Yes, and I had visions of decorating the whole store with like...
Penises.
Well, there's also breasts.
Yeah.
But yes, penises, lubricant, and vibrating cock rings. But at the request of the venue, at the request of the venue, we have to be a little sneaky pants, which is great. Why not be sneaky pants for Valentine's Day? And if you happen to see a child wander in here, just put everything in your pocket or the candy in your mouth. Trust me, whether it's breast or penis, it all tastes the same when it's in your mouth. I've been nibbling on chocolate genitalia for weeks now, so...
That's a good one. No comment.
Thank you. Courtesy of La Rouge, and also courtesy of Cindy's, I have a guys and girls gift bag for the artist who the audience votes was their favorite piece. I'm not in the running, but everybody who gets up here is. Okay? So.
Can you choose the 6?
You know what? I'm not even going. Here's the thing. When I say all the female artists comes up, then you come up. And when I say all the guys come up, then you come up. So you can choose the sex that you're competing for.
There you are.
Stay seated. I don't know. I don't know, Tom. I don't have all the answers, okay? Except, oh, wait a minute, is that? No. Sorry, I thought that was Birdman and Robin, but we'll get them in when they get here. So actually, Katie, I hate to put you on the spot, but you weren't originally first.
Oh, okay.
But would you like to start it off? I mean, you're a theater person. You shouldn't be shy. She is. I hope you like this. So I didn't want to give anything away in my intro, but she is exploring the stabbing aspects of love. Please welcome Katie Donna.
It's Katie Thibodeau, but it's confusing because my email says can't fight it.
Thibodeau. We'll get it straight pretty soon.
Love. What is love? Lately, I've been asking myself how I can let more love into my life. When the actions I take do not align with what feels true for me, I have to ask myself why. Sometimes, though, I don't hear an answer. And I continue to ask, but I'm reminded of this metaphor I heard somewhere. Someone pierces us with a sword. Instead of removing the sword from ourselves, we acknowledge the sword. We look at the sword. We analyze the sword, wondering who was the maker of this sword? What is the material and the weight of this sword? It's the same with our problems, our conflicts and our struggles. Instead of seeking to release the problem, we spend our time and energy seeking to analyze and invest ourselves further into it. So I come back to the first question. How can I let more love into my life? How can I, without needing to analyze to death that which disturbs me, allow love in, and in that love, begin to find healing and wisdom with the so-called problem? It seems that an absence of love is not an absence, but a separation. What is love? Where does it come from? What makes it so? Is it subjective? Yes and no. Are there different kinds of love? Yes. Love can be a noun, a verb, an adjective, and it can simply be an experience, something beyond human definition and conception. This is the kind of love that cannot be conveyed, but can only be felt. And when you feel it, only then does the problematic nature you identify with begin to shift, because you've glimpsed eternity. You see yourself without the layers of human conditioning you have taken on. You exist without condition, without limitation, and without interpretation. You simply are. There's nothing to strive for, nothing to react against. There becomes only this moment, and you are suspended in time. That's one kind of love. I think it is the ocean from which every other kind of love comes from and returns to. People seek gratification, enlightenment, escapism, to conquer a goal, to pursue an outside substance or experience they are so sure will fill that void they cannot seem to shake, that will take away the pain they feel inside but can't understand why, to avoid the nagging feeling that the days are slipping by and still they do not know what it means to have an unencumbered moment of joy in their life, to laugh unabashedly for no reason, to dance because there is something so alive within them, so beyond containment, that it causes their body to move beyond control. People say they are seeking love. They say that love hurt them in the past, that they must win over another's love and affections. They guilt with love. If you really loved me, you would not act the way you act now. Or, I'm only doing this because I love you. The truth is, though, real love is not made. It is not won, and it is not taken away. It cannot be earned, and it cannot be doled out conditionally. It cannot be bought, and it cannot be lost. It can be neither created nor destroyed. It is unchanging in its steadfast presence. Yet we are always changing, so our perception of it changes as well. It is the mystic's secret, plainly obvious to those with sight, yet hidden to those who have not yet opened their eyes. It is all around us, inside of us. It is our silent essence. What is love? Love is presence. How do I let more love into my life? Some days it is harder than others. Some years it is harder than others. But it starts with one moment of openness in my heart. One moment to release the sword causing the wound and let in the beginning of healing. Maybe that looks like one breath. One breath drawing me back into stillness, back into presence.
Thank you so much, Katie. Our next rouletter is talking about the anguish of having her adult children read the steamy sex scenes in her novel. Please welcome Donna, Dechen, Birdwell.
Thank you, Teresa. As writers, we're often told to be cognizant of our readers as we write. Think about what they need to know, what will bring them most profoundly into the story we're trying to tell, what will carry them forward in our inexorable arc of masterful storytelling. But one thing I was never warned about, never really thought about, is that some of my readers are going to be my own children. I never thought about them reading love scenes written by their mom. At least I didn't think about it until my adult and married daughter confessed to me that reading certain passages in my novel, Way of the Serpent, made her, uncomfortable. It's not that I write erotica or anything like that, But I do write scenes in which people are, you know, getting sexually aroused and having sex. Like this passage from page 20, chapter 3 of Way of the Serpent. Ginda loved listening to Luis's stories. It gave her ample time to listen and to study the way his eyes sparkled, the way his hands danced, the way his perfectly formed lips would suddenly part to let her glimpse his perfect teeth. Ginda felt that she had never known such a perfect man. Her mind tried to caution her about letting this potential relationship slip out of her control. But when Luis laid his hand casually over hers, she yielded to a shiver of joy that passed all through her body, settling into a pleasing moistness between her legs. When Luis asked if she would like to come up to his apartment to sample some coffee and liqueur he had acquired that day, Ginda's only gesture of control came in trying not to sound too eager. Or we could take another passage, page 27. This relationship developed quickly. They frequently shared dinner in small cafes and loved going back to El Piñal, where they first ate dinner together. Occasionally, they met up with one or more of Luis's friends for drinks. They took long evening walks through the parks. This is so romantic. And of course, there was their intimate time in bed. Although Ginda was developing a predilection for sex on the studio sofa, where the scent of hers and Luis's aroused bodies blended with the odor of oil paints, producing sheer intoxication. My son and his wife haven't read the book yet, but they plan to, and now I'm slightly disturbed, knowing that they normally read books together, out loud, in bed. I try not to think too much about particular readers while I'm writing, just the generic, every person sort of reader. But as I proceed with revising and editing my next couple of novels, I may be haunted just a bit by visions of how my daughter or my son or their respective spouses might react to such passages. And there will be more sex as I continue writing. As I hope to evoke real people in real circumstances, even though my trilogy is all science fiction. I'll share one more selection from my Slipstream novel called The Fourth Time, which takes a somewhat more playful approach to sex, or the possibility of sex. We're watching Meg and Seth, married couple, still in bed at her parents' home the morning after Thanksgiving. We lay there quietly for a while, enjoying the mutual isolation that we knew would not recur until the next time we retreated to this room together many hours from now. Through the closed door, we heard Emma's voice. No, Aunt Meg and Uncle Seth are not up yet. City folk don't get up as early as we do, so just try to be quiet a little longer, okay? I snorted. What time is it anyway, Seth? The clock was on his side of the bed. Seth raised his head from the pillow and then fell back again. Good God, Meg, it's almost 7:30. How late are these city folk going to sleep anyway? We both giggled as Seth turned toward me. I'd give you a kiss, pretty lady, but I'm still tasting the garlic from the stuffing and I don't want to inflict it on you. I pretended to sniff his breath and then gave him a deep kiss, pressing myself closer to him. Suddenly there was a blast from the TV. Turn that down, Emma hissed. God, Bart, have some consideration. And then Bart mumbled something as the volume of the TV subsided. Okay, Meg, I think it's time we got up, because if we don't get up now, your family are going to have even more topics for gossip about the city relatives. First dibs on the bathroom, I called as I bounded out of bed. Fine, Seth conceded. Not sure I'd be able to go right now anyway. Sorry, babe, can you save that for later? Well, I've got a few more scenes from the next two books in my Recall trilogy of which Way of the Serpent is book 1, but I couldn't find anything I could share with you that wouldn't be at least a little bit of a spoiler. You know, will they or won't they? And if they do, what happens after that? And maybe even, why the hell don't they already? So yes, dear children, the characters in my novels have sex. And although this may surprise you, so did your mother.